What's up, people? Welcome back to Game Told. My name is JR and I'm a consultant in the music business. Today we'll be discussing the different types of roles you need your team to play as an independent artist. Role 1, you need a marketing genius. And that's anybody who's savvy with social media these days, because that's where the bulk of your promotion will be. As an independent artist, you want to save as much money and cut back costs as much as you can. So the main tool you need to use is social media. So you need one person at least that's really good on social media, knows how to use all the tools and all the functions, like using the stories, using boomerangs, all these other things across all different platforms. So that's TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. You need somebody that's good with that stuff, to be posting your stuff and know when to post it, when people mostly are highly engaged, when it comes to your music and stuff like that. So yeah, that's number 1. Number 2, a person who's able to oversee everything and pick out points. Someone who can go over the ideas that you and your team come up with and say, you know what, I think this here is the problem. So a critical thinker is very important. That person is the one who's always going to be able to expose any flaws in your campaigns or ideas. Don't ever take it as an insult or undermining your ideas. Just listen to them and take it on board and make sure that you're not being critical. You're not just shooting down ideas, and understanding that they're being critical for a reason. If they're going to scrutinize your stuff, so will everybody else. So yeah, have that critical thinker. Number 3, most important of all, honesty. Honesty when it comes to choosing music, whether a song that you've made is not great, or honesty when it comes to doing business. You don't want somebody who's going to be dishonest in all those things. For one, you don't want a yes man when it comes to picking music or quality control and stuff like that. For 2, you don't want somebody that's dishonest who's going to be stealing from you. I mean, as an artist, you're going to get loads of different offers, and these brands or people who want to do deals with you or for whatever they're approaching you for financially, they're not always going to make contact with you, the artist. They're definitely not going to do that. If they can, they will. But most of the time, it's going to fall on the laps of friends of yours or people in your team. And you want them to be honest. So yeah, honesty is key. Number 4, an organizer. Somebody who's really good at organizing stuff. You want somebody that when it comes to booking shows and stuff like that, after you've accepted, taken a deposit and all that stuff, you need somebody who's going to organize your diary so you don't get clashes. So say for instance, you get a booking and you've accepted it, you've gone through the whole meal, it's on the books now. That organized person needs to be able to put that in a calendar and make sure that nothing else clashes with that day. So everything the artist accepts, that person is also on board and knows that that day needs to be open, so that there's no clashes and no future problems. So yeah, so somebody who's well organized. The same person who's well organized is the same person that will be reminding you about your photo shoots, any radio appearances you have, everything. Just manage your diary basically. Right. I think everybody needs to be on the same wavelength. Everybody needs to understand what the goal is, and nobody can do anything to be a detriment to that. So many times we've heard of artists turn up with their crews and things just going haywire. Nobody knows what they're doing. Neither does anybody care. Yeah, you don't want that reputation. You want everybody to be moving in sync and have one goal and be aware of what the goal is, and know that the artist is the prize, and the artist needs to be protected. The artist needs to be represented the right way. So yeah, it's very important that everybody understands what the goal is. Security, very, very important as well. You need somebody that's always going to be with you, that can watch your back. Now, to be honest with you, something's going to happen to you, something's going to happen. Nobody can stop it from happening. It is what it is. But what you can do is always have preventative methods in place to make it hard for people to harm you, if that's the case, or just to control crowds or whatever. Sometimes it's just innocent, but it's better when you have somebody in place that's there to stop things from happening, weird things from happening, like, you know, the fans rushing you or people testing you, or there's so many different reasons that can arise why people should have security. But when you can't afford it, make sure you have somebody that's security minded, that cares about your life, that protects you. To be honest with you, everybody needs to chip in when you're independent, and go places in groups, you know. Make it, like I said, make it harder for anybody to try anything. Give them reason to say, nah, maybe not today, you know, whatever reason it may be. Another point is, everybody on your team needs to be accessible. You, the artist, needs to be protected, and everybody on your team needs to be accessible, because you don't want to be that person or that artist that nobody can reach, and nobody can reach out to their friends or their team or their circle. You know, it doesn't help. With business is all about relationships, and the more relationships you have, the more you expose yourself to better deals out there. So yeah, you never know what's out there waiting for you. People around you need to have their social media and stuff open and ready to receive messages from others and stuff like that, just so that you don't miss anything. And any opportunity that comes up, if I miss it, he won't miss it, she won't miss it, you won't miss it. So yeah, the team always has to be accessible. The business savvy one. You always need somebody who's business savvy, even if you do not know, or even if they don't know the business too well. They're willing to learn. You need somebody that's like a sponge, that just comes in and soaks up all the information, does their own research, wants to live this life, wants to know as much information as possible in order to benefit you, you know? So in that way, they're the ones, most of the time, they're the ones who are the best networkers in the group, but also have the knowledge of the business. Now, business is business, of course, but every genre and every business is different. I mean, you can't go from export business to the music business and think it's the same. It's totally different. So the person who you nominate or you see that quality in has to be able to be very proactive, go out there, want to work hard and have knowledge of the business you're in, just so that you can have the advantage over all your peers, and, you know, make the load lighter for everyone. It always helps also to have somebody in the team that has the back end of music knowledge. Now, that may be a producer, mixer, masterer, an engineering background or something. That always helps. You can't go wrong. You know what I mean? That's one of the most important parts of your career, making the music. So if you have somebody on the team that can contribute musically and, you know, do all the back end stuff, you know for sure that if you're busy, for instance, you can go and record your vocals and then leave it to that person, and that person will do the sound justice and stuff like that. You can leave it for them to manage with whoever in that scenario. So it's always good to have somebody that's musically educated in that field, or interested. Again, be able to soak up game from different people. It also helps to have somebody who's stylish or who has a big interest in style or fashion. I mean, image is everything in the music business. Even if you dress up as a hobo, that's your image. So consistency in how you look is what will define who you are to people. People will see something and say, oh, that's synonymous with this person, you know, and you're forever. But when you're, and they'll forever remember you. But when you're that person who dresses like this today, tomorrow you dress like that, you know, like there's no consistency involved. So somebody with fashion knowledge is always great. You can't go wrong with them. So that was today's video. I hope I've given you enough game for you to think about when you're putting together your teams. Comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to send any questions you have in the comments below, or how you got around putting together your team, or how your team is doing, what you need done right. Comment underneath. Let's get active and talk. This is Game Told. Peace.